So I'm going to talk about my experience with living with chronic pain and where it all began. So when I was 18, I had pains, like sciatica pains, I would describe it as. I thought I had sciatica. I had pains in my legs, like as if you were sat on a horse, I want to say, like a numbness where you would be sat on a horse, saddle numbness. And it was getting worse as the days went on. And I'm thinking, like I always suffered, I think, with, like, I always felt like I've never not suffered with pain. But this particular week, it was getting worse and worse and worse, and my legs were unbearable to me. Now, I have quite a high pain threshold. So I was still going to work. I was working at the time as a nursery nurse, so I was still looking after children. I was still doing everything, but I had pain in my legs and my back. And as the days went on, it got worse and worse. And I rang the doctor and got an appointment. I ended up seeing like a standing GP, not my normal GP, and told them that I had pains in my legs, it was hurting, discussed all my symptoms, how it just didn't feel right. Something on my body was telling me that I did not feel okay. And the GP that I saw told me it was growing pains. Now, I tried to explain to the GP I was 18, I'd done all my growing that way, the only way I'm growing is that way, but they said it's growing pains. Didn't just say keep taking paracetamol and ibuprofen. I went back to work that day and I just cried, and I was like, I'm in so much pain, this is hurting me, I'm in agony. There was other things like my back, I felt like I needed a wee all the time. I said to the doctor, I feel like I always need a wee, I constantly need a wee, nothing's emptying. But it was growing pains, who knew? So I drove myself to A&E and saw the triage nurse, and even at the triage I felt like she wasn't taking me on at first, and I was like, I'm in agony, like, but because I'm sat here like going, oh, I'm in agony, I'm probably not presenting as a person who's in agony. So I was like, I'm in a lot of pain, something isn't right, I feel like my back's hurting, I've got numbness, my feet keep tingling, nothing feels right. It was when I mentioned my bladder, this particular triage nurse in A&E was like, right, we'll look a bit more into it, because the bladder, obviously, if you're feeling like it was weird, it's like I hadn't had a poo in days, and I just felt like I was constantly on the toilet. I literally was in work and going for a wee every 2 minutes. They thought I was skiving, I'm telling you. In fact, I remember at one point, because you can't have a phone in a nursery in a room, obviously, for safeguarding, it was actually said at one point that they thought I was taking my phone to the toilet so that I could text you or whatever. And I'm not, I'm having a wee. No one took me on. So I went to A&E, they said, right, we'll do a scan. So upon having this MRI scan, they saw that my disc was gone and it was hitting the cauda equina nerve. And basically that will affect your bladder and obviously your legs. Now I've done a little Google search for you. Claudia Equina Syndrome is basically a condition where your disc is herniated, or it can be caused by other things, but in my case, the disc was herniated and it was hitting the cauda equina nerve and it was affecting my bladder. So we did a bladder scan, basically filled my bladder up, did a scan, went for a wee, came back, did another scan, and they were like, you are retaining far too much in your bladder. This is now classed as an emergency, we need to do an operation, yada yada yada, and literally had an operation. I didn't come back out until I'd done an operation. So literally next morning I was first in and I had my disc removed. They did say that there was 2 bulging discs still in there, but they weren't pressing on the nerve, they were just tapping away, but they weren't completely compressing the nerve, so I left them in. Now, from having that, from what they've explained to me, is once a nerve is damaged, it's damaged. Now, because it completely compressed it, it damaged my nerve. So my legs still have nerve damage, my bladder has an element of nerve damage, and obviously I've still got the 2 bulging discs. So with that, you get pain. Nerve damage causes pain. it causes a funny sensations like every day. My legs is like a zoom, zoom, zoom. That's all I can describe it as in terms of pain. It's like someone's got a stabbing knife in the back, and it's just shooting in and out. So sometimes if I sit down too long, it gets worse. If I stand up too long, it gets worse. If I move around too much, if I lie in bed for no matter what I do, I can't do it for a long period of time because I will be in bed. I will be in pain. So obviously the recovery from having the operation, I was only I was in the hospital for about 3-4 days, and once, well, they wouldn't let me go till I'd had a poo, so they says to me, we need to give you an enema. I said, well, right. So I said, do you mind if one of the students does it? And I thought, everyone has to learn. In they come through the curtain with a bloody male student coming shoving a busy bullet up my ass. So by that point, I didn't give a hoot who was doing what to me. So, and I was high off my kite and morphine, so on my side it goes, popped it in, and it did its job. I went for a poo. So then I was allowed home. I couldn't drive for, I think, was it 4 weeks? I don't think I could drive for. And I remember it was around this time, it was April 13th, 2012, that I had the operation. It was a Friday the 13th, which didn't give good omens. And it was glorious. Like, the weather now is glorious. It's been like this every year, and everyone's laughing because I keep saying, going, do you know, every year since my operation it's been like this. So if you want a good week, this is the week for you. It's always glorious weather. Back to it. Since obviously having an operation, so you're talking 13 years ago, I've obviously had to live with the side effects of what Claudia Equina Syndrome leaves you with. So yes, they've took the disc out, but the nerve damage is never going to be repaired. It's irreparable. So every day, it's a case of pain in my legs, pain in my back. I get pins and needles in my feet. Sometimes the symptoms present worse than other days. So it has a lingering pain, and you sort of get used to that pain. That's like your baseline. So your baseline is just your pain. But then there'll be days where I'm in a lot of pain, I'm in agony. If I'm complaining about it, it's unbearable. I take daily medication. It took a while to sort of find what works, because at first they were just giving me opioids and saying, here's some codeine, take that. Well, codeine bungs you up and makes you constipated. So once you're constipated, that's pressure in your back. So that was another thing. I was like, well, this isn't helping. And it makes me itch as well, codeine. So I was like, this isn't working for me. So my mum's actually a nurse, and the pain lead in her hospital had said to her one day, she needs to speak to the doctor about pregabalin. So I spoke to the doctor, and when you look at pregabalin, it's actually treats like epilepsy and things like that. There's many reasons why you're on it, but it's more of a nerve targeting painkiller rather than pumping your body with constant opioids, which are addictive and stuff. And it just didn't benefit me. I felt oh God, I'd never felt good on him. So I started on a very low dose of 25 milligrams. Then that was like 25 3 times a day. Then it was 50 twice a day. And before you know it, I'm on the highest dose. They can't put me on any more, of 600 milligrams a day of pregabalin, which you obviously get used to taking. When I say to people, especially who are in a medical profession, I take 600 milligrams of pregabalin a day, they're like, how are you functioning? How do you do life? It's heavy medication. It's a lot. Sometimes I will just fall asleep. It depends. It honestly depends. Some days I feel the effects of it and get nauseous. Other days it's just crack on with your day. I feel it when I've not took it. So if I forget to take my tablet, I start withdrawing and feel sweats and stuff. So it's important that I remember. But it's been the best thing for me to try and manage the pain. Now, obviously, the longer you're on something, the more tolerant you become and the less effective it is. But there's nothing else for me now. I can't up it anymore. I also have, on a repeat prescription, naproxen, for when my symptoms flare worse. Alongside that, a meprazole, because naproxen just rots your gut. So I take a meprazole with those. With chronic pain, I think people don't understand the mental side of that and what it can do to your mind. It's not a fun place to be. it can make you feel quite isolated at times, and you want to do it. Like me, especially as a mum, I will try and do things that don't seem like such a big deal to other people, but then I'll be in agony for days because I just didn't want to not do it with the kids. So then I'm at my own detriment of being in agony. So then with that, I become snappier, less patience, but I didn't want to be the mum that couldn't do it. They understand a lot like now where I'm like, you can't get on my back, I can't give you a piggyback, I can't do this. Sometimes I'll do it and like we'll go for a walk and I'll put one on my shoulders, and whoever I'm with's like, why are you doing it? You're going to be in so much pain. I'm like, but they wanted to get on. So it's like a mental argument with yourself of what you want to do and your expectations of who you are and what mum you want to be. Recently went to Knowsley Safari, and they have little roller coasters there like for babies, and I went on one. I mean, it said don't go on if you've got a back problem. Luke, my eldest, was like, Mum, you can't. And I was like, I'm going on. I want to have a laugh with you. I want to join in. I want to experience it. Anyway, this week, and we're gonna. It's not a good week for pain this week. So like little things such as just doing me washing, bending down is just a chore. I'll sit on the floor while I'm putting things on the maid, and so I'm like up and down, little things. On occasion, my legs will just give way. So if I try and like, it was Annabelle's dancing competition the other month, and I was doing like they do like a little bunny thing, like a pony thing, sorry, like a pony trot in the dance. And I was like, oh, I can do it. My leg went straight to the floor, in front of people. What can you do? Because I equally like to be the person who's the life and soul and goofing about, but my body does not agree. Last year, so most recently, my leg went on the stairs and I collapsed, obviously, because my leg went, and broke my wrist, snapped my wrist. And it's just little things like that that people don't see, like, because my mum of 4 and I'm getting on with life, people don't see, well, actually, you're tackling that as well. And since I've been seeing my therapist, she's like, your battery in the morning is already 20% less because of the pain that you've woke up in. So then you've got your battery's sinking, and there's nothing left by the end of the day because you've already lost a percentage just by waking up in pain. And it is, you know, I could sit as if on another day I might have sat here and cried throughout all this. I'm really because I cry a lot, but it does take a toll on life. It really, really does. Like, I literally wake up every morning and think, why do I have to live in this pain? Why is it me? And I feel shit. Then I think, no, get out your little victim mentality. It is where it is. It happened. Deal with it. Because I don't want to be like, oh, woe me. But I think it's important to speak about chronic pain, because I think because you can't see something, people assume it doesn't exist, or they see a certain life that's being portrayed that you're this, oh, you're okay, you're living your best life, because we don't share these bits where we're not living our best life. In fact, we're really battling through those days to put a smile on our face at times. And being on the medication that I'm on, sometimes I notice my speech will slur, or my memory, that's a side effect. My memory is shocking. It's so bad. Headaches, I'm on sumatriptan as well for my migraines. I get a lot of headaches, which are a result of the other medication. So you take one and you end up with another. But I want to share these things because I think people just assume that, oh, people who are in chronic pain are rolling around the floor all day and they can't move. We want to be, trust me, we want to be able to roll on the floor and do nothing more. But we haven't got the privilege to, because we've got a life to live. And I have made the decision, crazily, to have 4 children. How I've even carried those children, I don't know, but I did. Someone's raving somewhere. And obviously I have to raise those children. And it's not good when you've got, it's bad enough being a parent of 4, having a parent of 1 sometimes, Christ. But yeah, it's certainly a topic that I do think is important to talk about, because I don't think it's fair sometimes that people don't not necessarily believe you, but think you're just being dramatic, or like, oh gosh, moaning again about that. And I try my best not to. I do try my best not to, because I know it bores the hell out of people to hear about it all the time. It bores me. But I think it's important to understand that people are in pain, and they might not sit there and say I'm in pain. They might be stood there, biggest smile on their face, but they are battling to make that smile come. Some days I can stand at the school and be talking to somebody about whatever, and I'll be sat there like that, and I'm thinking, I'm in agony here. I'm in agony. I'm not even listening to what you're saying because my back's killing. And my legs I find the worst. It's like a irritable. It's not enjoyable.